All right, let's go ahead and get started. Just so I can gauge, I should do the obligatory. It's CakeFest Introduction to PaaS for application developers. That's me, Steve Pousty. That's the URL for the slides if you want to follow along at home or you want to skip ahead and get to the good parts. And then that's me where you can harass me. How many of you have used a platform as a service before? You don't count Microsoft, guy. So only like 4, right? So that means I do actually, because I can skip slides. There's a lot of demo, and I really like getting to the demo because I think that kind of sells PaaS, but I'll go through the slides fast. How's that sound? And if you really enjoy it, raise your hand and say, Steve, slow down, please. I really love slides. Okay? So today's going to be an epic tale of 2 mighty forces that usually battle on a regular basis. This has been going on for centuries. We're not going to pick sides, right? It's werewolves and vampires. Neither is good or evil. It's just 2 sides that have battled. On one side, you have developers, right? And they like shiny things, and they sit outside in the sunshine. And notice they all have Macs, as I notice a preponderance of here as well. They like to build things a lot, and they're always excited about new shiny stuff. And then the other side, you have sysadmins. And they usually sit near servers, and they care about their servers being up, right? And that's usually when they like to stay close to them as well, right? And so this is developers, right? Quick, fast, I want things now. Oh my gosh, Angular just came out with a new version. I need to update my entire site because there's a new Angular version. Even though I break it for everybody, I need to have the newest and latest, greatest version. I have to have the fastest Mac, of course, because what I do is so important. I can't wait an extra millisecond for the compile. Right? So this is generally developers, and this is generally sysadmins. Right? Their stuff is shiny, but it's the big kind of shiny that's not quite so sexy to everybody else. They need servers up all the time. They care about uptime. Like, we usually don't care about uptime. I'm a developer myself, in case you couldn't tell. And they care about things like uptime. Like, when the email servers go down, you are calling who? Them. And it's all their fault, and it's terrible, right? And so they don't like being in that situation. So they like things being dependable and reliable. And so this usually ends up with the 2 sides fighting, right? Because those are pretty diametrically opposed views to what is good. Fast, shiny, new, rapid, keep stuff up, never goes down, haul lots of stuff. Right? So this is how the sysadmins feel. Right? You do not log into my server. And then that ends up leading to the developers feeling like this. Right? Like, how many of you have sysadmins who administer your machines for you or give you machines when you're ready to develop? A bunch of you, and then so usually it involves some sort of begging, and then 3 months later you have a VM, right? Is that usually what ends up happening? I'm sorry? Oh, that's good. Actually, so I shouldn't pick on sysadmin so much. There's 2 types. IT usually falls into 2 groups, enablers or gatekeepers. I like working with the enablers. I hate working with the gatekeepers. So anyway, but this is usually how a lot of developers end up. And so then this is usually how devs end up thinking about what happened, right? We're fine for me. I don't know. It's your fault, right? So what I'm going to go to today is trying to get everybody to get along, right? And what I'm going to show is what I think of as awesome sauce. So for those of you who have used a PaaS, like for me, I never used a PaaS until I actually started working on OpenShift about 3 years ago. And since there's other PaaSes in the market, right? Platforms as a service. There's a bunch of others. I can never go back to being a developer without a PaaS now. It has changed my life so much. And even if you don't end up using OpenShift, which is ours, because this is not a total propaganda show, even if you don't, you owe it to yourself to try at least one and see how it changes how you do your work. I'll show you in a bit about how nice it is. And it actually has, how many of you teach Cakephp classes or try to teach people how to use Cakephp? Right, so I'm going to show you a way to have servers spin up for free with the entire Cakephp code base in it. Or what's the new one, CakeStrap? Is it CakeStrap or CakeBoot? The one with Bootstrap built in? Anyway, I'll show it to you, and it'll be really easy to get it set up. Right, so first a little level setting on the cloud. Everybody here knows EC2, right? Really? Not everybody's shaking their head. That's like the biggest softball ever. Yeah, everybody knows EC2, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, so EC2 is what you people usually call the cloud, but it's actually infrastructure as a service. Right? It solves a particular problem, and it's a great problem, which is I don't want to go through a 6-month procurement process to buy a box and then rack and stack it, get it plugged in, get the OS loaded on it, and then I finally have a box. Right? You say, I want this much memory, this much CPU, this much disk, spin it up. And like a minute later, you have a box. Right? And that's awesome. But for developers, the problem is, then you have a box. Right? You still have to configure the network. You still have to keep it up to date. You still have to install all the software on it. There's still a whole bunch of, you're maintaining it. Which, I don't know about you, but I always felt, especially when I put PHP on it, like I was leaving some wide open hole in the world. Right? Like I knew my box was going to get rooted within like 20 minutes after I set it up myself. It was always like, I couldn't sleep well at night. And so, I don't want to spend 3 days shaving a yak. Do you guys everybody know what yak shaving is? Who's heard of yak shaving? Okay, I need to do a little more public education. It comes from the analogy of, you live in Maine, does everybody know what Maine? Or Canada, all of Canada, except for British Columbia. Except for British Columbia, you have very nice weather there. Everywhere else in Canada, it's cold and terrible in the wintertime, right? And so you want to go get your mail. So you got to put a sweater on to go get your mail. Well, you don't have a sweater, so you're going to have to knit a sweater. Okay, well, you don't have any wool, so you're going to have to go get some wool. Okay, well, you don't, their fur is still on the yak, you have to go outside and shave your yak. 2 days later, you've shaved your yak, and you still haven't checked you haven't gotten your mail yet. Right, so it's the idea that to get to the process you want to get to, you spend a whole bunch of mental energy and time doing stuff that has nothing actually related to what you wanted to do in the first place. Right, so with infrastructure as a service, there's still a lot of yak shaving for us as developers. Software as a service. Okay, how many of you work for an enterprise company? No, almost nobody. Awesome. What are you guys, like, ashamed? Like, you guys actually have real money involved in what you do. So what I wanted to say about that is, who is the largest software as a service provider without enterprise? I bet, except for you, I bet everybody here has like 3 accounts with this. I have 2. Google what?
Drive.
Analytics, really? Drive?
You said at least 2. I mean,
Gmail accounts. How many of you have a Gmail account? Yeah, see? And so everybody has usually, and for those people, it's probably, if I said how many have multiple, at least half those hands would have stayed up. And there's 6 billion people in the world, so there's probably about 12 billion Gmail accounts going on in the world right now. That is by far the largest software as a service provider. In the enterprise space, it's probably Salesforce. Right? And so for us as developers, Gmail is great because I don't have to set up email servers, and I don't have to try to figure out how to run email. I just get this nice email. But for us as developers, it also kind of stinks because you get what you get and you don't get upset. Right? That is Gmail. That is the interface. And unless you write something against IMAP, that's what you get. Right? There's no API to Gmail. Is there? There is? All right. The software as a service part of it, though, you can't change it. You can't change that interface, right? So that's software as a service. So it doesn't solve that problem for developers either. Platform as a service, and then also, of course, I put the big OpenShift one there, but let's name some others. Does anybody know any other platforms as a service? Azure. So Azure has a platform as a service as well. Who else? Heroku. Yes. Who else? That's all there is. There are no others. Just kidding. There are others, but I'm not going to name them. Okay, fine. AppFog. Isn't that the big PHP one? You guys. All right. So good, because OpenShift is way bigger than they are. This solves the problem of I want to just spin up servers with the application server on it and just start coding. Right? And that's the problem that platform as a service solves. Okay? So I just want to give a quick background on our stuff. I wish I had brought a laser pointer. We don't have a laser pointer, do we? I wish I was, what is it from, what's the guy from Fantastic Four? Stretch. He's just called Stretch, that's it? That's kind of easy. Okay, so up top, we're Red Hat. So what does that mean we have to have for all of our projects or products? It's got to be, no, come on. What's Red Hat famous for besides, what's famous about Linux? It's, thank you. God, thank you. So OpenShift, of course, has an open source version that's OpenShift Origin. That's all up in GitHub. Go check it out. Trello cards, open mailing lists, no contributors license agreement. The new version, which is coming out in less than a month, is all written in Go. So if you want a reason to play with Go, I don't, but if you do, that's a great place to try it out. OpenShift Online is where we take the whole thing and host it in Amazon Web Services for you. Enterprise is if you want to install the bits yourself, like on any server. I'm going to take my propaganda hat off now, I think. No, I got one more slide on propaganda. No, I don't want to show this one. This is all the stuff that I'll show it quickly. This is all the stuff. It's on, forget all that. You can get, there's a Zen server in here if you want it. We've got the 3 databases in the back end, MySQL, Postgres, and Mongo. You can add your own. If you wanted to try some other language besides PHP, we have a bunch. It's just standard. Our standard out of the box is Apache with mod PHP. And so anything that runs on Apache with mod PHP runs on us. We also have Zen server. Do any of you use Zen server? Does anybody? You do. Nice. Anybody care about but never wanted to pay for Zen server? So this is a quick and easy way to try Zen server. It's for free if you want to try it out. And then standard stuff, and then some PHP stuff. Okay. So how do we make the sausage? We use Linux containers, but not LXC. It's our own custom Linux containers. When I talk about containers, what's the first person that most people are going to ask me about?
Docker.
Docker. Right. Is it Docker? Not yet. The version I said that's coming out in a month is all based on Docker with Kubernetes, and I can show a quick demo of that if people want to see that in my demo portion. I'm trying to go fast so I can get to the demo. Years of experience supporting sysadmins and devs. Automate that which can be automated, which is always a good thing, and you get it. So this saying comes from my therapist, and I thought it had a lot of application in almost every aspect of my life, which is clear boundaries, infinite possibilities. And this is one of the things that PaaS makes possible. When you're a dev on a PaaS, you are a dev. You don't get to do sysadmin things. There is no yum install or apt-get, whatever. You are a dev. There is no sudo su. You get to look at your logs, you get to change some configuration files, and that's about it. The benefit to that, though, is you don't have to manage any other part of it, right? So using the PaaS definitely has some trade-offs, but because of this, it gives you a lot of freedom to do what you want to do. Not all rules are bad. Does everybody think rules are bad? No? Come on, there's some developers here. Some developers must be like, screw the man, no rules for anybody, anarchy. The problem is when you talk, we all use rules for grammar, and that's what allows us to talk, right? So some rules help. This is one of the rules where it actually makes you more productive because you're worrying about the things you need to worry about. So enough talk. Let's just show some code. How's that sound? Is that better? Yeah, let's just do that. Okay. I'm going to make a PHP 5.4 app. Not that window, this one. RHC app create rules rule. That's the name of my app. PHP 5.4. I know 5.5 is the latest, but we don't have. It's not 6. All right, we're Red Hat. That's actually good for us that we're on 5.4, right? Usually the original was 5.3, which how many people would be sad if I did 5.3? Yeah, everybody. So what's actually happening now is on the server we're actually spinning up a container, which is a bunch of SC Linux rules and C groups and all this fancy stuff. Then we're allocating some disk space. Then we're actually spinning up a Apache with mod PHP in it just for that application. So it's shared nothing. And then we're making a Git repo. And then at the end of this, we're going to clone that Git repo down to our local machine. So that's what we're waiting for now. Any questions on anything I've said so far? We're waiting. There, it's done. So right now we have a server running. We're just waiting for DNS to propagate. We do everything with SSH. So it wants to know if I want to store the key. There, it's done. If you are on your laptop, you can go to rulesrule-spdemo.rhcloud.com and see that. Yeah, isn't that kick-ass? Don't try to steal that. I patented that interface. Okay? But that's a real live mod PHP Apache app running right now. Okay, so I think that's actually much faster than spinning up an AWS instance. Would you agree? And it's all configured. Did I have to do any DNS stuff? No. How many people did I have to call? 0. Right? It's just done. He's offended by my talk. I'm about to get shut off. Okay. So what did that actually do? Remember I said it made a Git repo? There's our Git repo, right? It's a pretty complicated project, so again, don't even try to comprehend it. I'm just going to work through it right here. It's got a single PHP file that I'm now going to edit. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but this is some PHP. Actually, do you guys know why I'm here today? Because Grant had a family emergency. So you get the guy who's mostly Python and Java doing some PHP stuff, but I know PaaS. So that's why you get me. So I'm not going to do anything fancy with PHP. This is definitely not like, whoa, I went home and I learned this really great new PHP technique. I'm a PHP god. No, that's not going to happen. But what you will learn is something that's really fast and easy to work with. So I'm going to make a complicated code change. Change this H1 tag. Wait, I'm lead. There we go. There's my complicated code change. Everybody see what I did? Okay, there'll be a quiz later. And then we just do a git add. I'll actually do the shortcut. Git commit. So I just committed everything locally to my machine. And then I do a git push. And that's it. Right? And you'll see by default, we turn off Apache and then start it back up again. There's a quick and easy way to make it so it doesn't do that. You don't need to do that with PHP, right? And if there's any dependencies in pair.txt, we would pull all those down. So if you want to declare your Cakephp dependencies inside there, that's where you would do it, and we would pull them all down and put them into your package. Okay? And if we go back to our page now, there's the change. Right, so thank you. Vendor love, cross-vendor love. So what I was going to say is, now you distracted me. So the point here is, the Microsoft guy clapped for the Red Hat guy. That's like historic right there. What I was going to say on this though is, the infrastructure part is the only time when you use our tools. Right? So you use our tools to spin up a server, to add something to the servers, to do something like that. After that, it's just Git and SSH. So what tools do you guys usually use to edit PHP files? Storm, right? We have a plugin for ideas, so that doesn't even count, because you can actually use a plugin to do everything I did with the command line inside of Storm. Another one, someone's got to be a command line editor. Vim. So all you need with Vim is exactly what I just did here, right? And if you use, any of you use NetBeans?
I said.
So, what? You do? So NetBeans, we don't have a plugin, but all you have to do is drop that Git URL into the Git piece of NetBeans, and when you push, it just builds and deploys. And you can SSH in directly. You want to SSH in and see what you actually have on the server? Okay. You shake your head. You responded, actually, so because of you, everybody else has to watch this. So, because we made the Git repo using the RHC tools, I can just do this. Right? Actually, let me go up there. But you can just say SSH as long as you want to put that in. Right? It's just a normal SSH. It's just a shortcut. So I'm actually SSH'd into my container. Right? This is not some sort of, who's the one in one up? Or is that what it is? One in one? What's it called? The hosting group, like a VPN? Forget it. One of those ones that just gives you the PHP server but never lets you SSH in. Right? It's not a dedicated host. This is. I can do this. Oh no, what's the first thing you're going to want to do when you get in? You're going to do ls. Great, I'll do ls. There's ls. Now, what's the next thing you're going to want to do?
Read.
What?
Read.
No, you're going to want to do this. Right? No. Remember, you're a developer, not a systems administrator. And so you want to just do dev tasks. So what's one thing that dev people usually want to do? Things go wrong with your code. I mean, I don't know if things go wrong with your code, but things go wrong with my code. And what do I usually want to look at? Log files. So I can go in there. and there's my log. Right, and I can less it. Let's see, what else? Anything else I want to say? Oh, look, there's my request, right? No one else is looking at my great app. I'm kind of insulted, guys. There's a lot of laptops open. I can't believe you guys are checking your email and watching YouTube videos while I'm talking. And you can do anything you want to this file, right? So I can remove this file if I want. That doesn't matter, because it's up to me. If I want to screw up my app, I can screw up my app. We're not going to stop you from screwing up your own app. We just don't want you screwing up anybody else's app, okay? What else is something you might want to do? You have a bad process, you can do top. There's top. What do you notice about the user ID? This is not a trick question. This is a chance for you to be like a winner in your life. What do you notice about the user number? The same. Thank you for being brave. It's all the same. You can see your processes, you can't see anybody else's. You can kill your processes, you can't kill anybody else's. Again, you want to screw up your app? Have at it. You want to try to touch anybody else's? Can't go. Can't do it. Right? One of the things you might want to do is write something to disk. Right? In your app. We give you a temp directory. What's the usual deal with a temp directory that makes it insecure? Read, write, execute for everyone, right? If I look at the permissions on this, right, it is read and execute by everyone, or, yeah, for everyone, right? But actually, this is a private temp directory. We use PAM namespaces. No one can see it. It's your very own temp directory. What's the drawback with putting a file in a temp directory? Yeah, reboot. Some process comes through and deletes all the files. Right? So that's not necessary. If you're doing a file upload app, you don't want to put them in /temp, unless that's just a staging point. We actually give you consistent disk space. And that's in here. So I can touch Steve makes a file. And there's my file. Right? So you can, those will stay around in between the server going up and down. Okay? Anything else anybody wants to know about this? Yeah.
Do you guys do anything like cache and consolidate syslog calls from all these different boxes? I think Google App Engine does that.
Do we cache and consolidate? In this version, it does not happen. They're not all brought together onto the head gear. We call our containers, we call them gears. In the new version, there's a constant syslog drain, and it all goes into one spot. Okay? You can use, oh no. So, can you use New Relic on Heroku? No. Because how many of you use New Relic?
I have in the past a little bit.
Sorry?
So I have in the past a little bit.
Okay. But New Relic is a monitoring application. For some reason in PHP, they can't seem to, not in PHP, in New Relic, they can't seem to start their agent without starting it as root. We've told them this is a problem. They haven't fixed it. We don't let things start as root. You can start as the user, though, and it's totally secure. So you can't use New Relic here, sorry. I was going to say there's other, but like log entries or logly, those both work fine with here if you wanted to use something like that. Okay, so that's just basic PHP. Oh, you want to add MySQL to that application? Where's the MySQL guy? You should be saying yes, of course. Otherwise, I'm going to add PHP. I mean, it helps to make a joke if you say the right word. Otherwise, I'm going to add Postgres. So this is how hard it is to add MySQL. And that's it. Right? And what this is actually going to do is spin up a MySQL D instance. I've used a small public gear here, so it's a little bit... We have a public free tier. Free forever. No, like free for 1 year, and then we're going to charge your credit card, and you're going to be surprised by a $1,000 bill. Also not free for a month, and then your app is stuck. Right? It's free forever. You get three of these containers, 512 megs of application RAM, and a gigabyte of disk space. And that, so I'm using that free tier where things are a little less powerful because it's a free tier, right? You can run a WordPress site in it or a small demo PHP site, but I wouldn't put a high availability production app in that free tier. Okay? So it's done. I now have MySQL. And the thing that's happened here, I just want to show one thing, and this is the part that's awfully nice. If I do this, it's added a whole bunch of MySQL environment variables. Right? Like the user, there's the port, the host, the username. Where's the password? There's the password, right? So now in your code, you just call those environment variables and it just works. Right? You can also do this if you wanted to. And you're into your own MySQL instance. You could also do this. And what this is going to do is scan the application, find all the open ports, and then port forward them to your local machine. So I can now run MySQL admin against my local host talking to the server. Right? Everybody knows about port forwarding? Right? So this is this port here, 127.0.0.1.3306 on my local machine now points to my server. So I can run MySQL admin or any MySQL GUI tool on my local machine and actually deal with the data there. Okay, but you guys are all Cakephp people. Oh, and by the way, I just said the word guys, but I'm actually from New York, right? And so in New York, guys is kind of a gender-neutral term. Like a group of girls will call themselves guys. So I apologize in advance. It's just kind of a New York thing. Okay, it's gender-neutral to me. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Cakephp site. This is the one thing I don't like about Reveal. Unless I open this in a new tab, it doesn't open. So we have two Cakephp quick starts. If this is on hub.openshift.com, can you guys read that in the back? How's that? Is that better? Okay, if I don't get audience participation, it's hard to know if it's better or not.
Good.
There?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's a quick start? A quick start is when we actually, in a Git repo, let me show you. Here's Cakephp. Here's the documentation, which is also the source code for it, the repository. It's right here as well. This is a whole PHP project, Cakephp project set up to work out of the box in OpenShift. Right? And so there's two different ways I can start this. I can actually just say deploy. Oops. And now I can use the web console to make this app, right? If I wanted to. I can use branches or tags. I'll use a medium-sized one to make it bigger. I want 5.4, MySQL 5.5. I'm actually going to make it scaling. The reason why they say it doesn't support scaling is because we don't auto-scale the MySQL tier. We can auto-scale the web tier, but auto-scaling relational databases is actually quite a hard task. What I mean by auto-scaling is we monitor HTTP traffic. If it gets to a certain amount and there's a backup, we'll automatically spin up a new gear for you, rsync your code over, plug it into the load. We start up with a load balancer, and then we just plug the new gear into the load balancer, and it just handles traffic automatically. Okay? And then spin it down once the traffic goes away. It also means that each of the daemons that we start up go in their own gear. Like before, MySQL and Apache were both running inside the same one. Now I'm going to actually give them each 512 megs of RAM and they're each on 1 gigabyte of disk space. We can also start up in other regions. And that's it. That's actually going to start up the app. But as a developer, I almost never use the web console. Right? Because what I usually want to do is so I get this Git URL, and I can go back up here, and I can say rhc app create cake MySQL. We'll start with PHP. PHP 4 MySQL 5.5 dash gear size medium scalable, and then I just say dash dash from dash code, and I pass in the Git repo. And that does the exact same thing. And so why is this also awesome if you work on a team?
Uniformity environment.
Yeah, hey, good one, nice. Showed up late, still great answers. Uniformity in environment, right? Everybody's server is starting up exactly the same way. Okay? The other thing is, remember how I said you can use those environment variables? Let's say your company, your consulting firm, whatever, you teach this class and you want to show an example. You make one GitHub example, you put in the environment variables the way they should be. Everybody can start it up exactly like we just did here. And you know they're getting the exact same code base. So usually when a new team member starts, how long does it take them to get ready with their whole work environment? Like getting a server set up and everything like that. Here it's a matter of minutes. They get their IDE set up, whatever that is, or they get their VI working, or Vim working, and they're good to go. They've got a server going that they can start playing with right away. And again, this is not particular to OpenShift, although I think we do it the best. This is particular to platform as a service. Right? So this is what you guys, if you start using a platform as a service, it's very hard to go back again. Because you saw, like, I'd be hacking PHP code in a matter of minutes rather than spinning up an AWS instance and then mucking around for a day trying to get it going. Okay? All right. So, I'm not going to show you this. I'll show you the code. I'm not going to do it because I think, can I get like am I past my 5-minute warning? Am I over? Oh, sorry, Microsoft guy. So I'm not going to show this except to quickly say, oh, it should be here. This is a complete app. This one actually, the part I wanted to show you that's kind of cool is we have these application hooks. So the action hooks, they take parts in different, they take effect during different phases of the life cycle. And here I'm loading up a Mongo database with a whole bunch of data as part of spinning up the app. Right, so you can do that stuff as well. And so it spins up an entire application. All right, we already just showed what was under the hood. Let's wrap up. In case I haven't said this strong enough, PaaS makes life great for you. You can live your dreams. This is the best of all possible world. I'm trying to leave on a really high note. There's a free ebook, right? So you can also just go to openshift.com/ebook. And that's a book I co-authored with Katie Miller. It uses Python in the example, but I used Python because Python's the most readable by everybody. It's not because it's anything, it's only 80 pages, so it's really easy to get your head around all the stuff that happened here. And I didn't get a chance to show version 3, but I'll be here through probably at least 12 o'clock. I have a 3 o'clock flight, so I should be here till about 12. If anybody wants to see a demo of the new version with Docker and Kubernetes and then OpenShift on top of that, I can show that as well in a little bit. Or privately, like during a break or something. So, I'm all done. That's it. You don't have to clap. I wasn't trying to say everybody should clap. I was just trying to be done.
How do you compare cost-wise with everything else?
Infinitely cheaper. It's free forever. But you mean cost-wise? I think for production. I think we're competitive, right? It depends. It depends on your use case, right? So PaaS isn't the. I don't want to say PaaS all things, because like if you're doing funky things with your firewalls or you're doing some low-level things, we're not the right. PaaS is not the right solution, right? It's not what its aim is to be. Sorry. Oh, that's just people talking amongst themselves. So, but because we can actually get greater density because we're using containers, like we're running on AWS for all of our stuff. So if your application fits this model, you can actually get better, we can get you better pricing, and if you choose to put OpenShift Enterprise or Origin on it, you can get better pricing for your own thing. One of the things we also offer is dedicated nodes. So those containers I was spinning up, that's on a big RHEL instance. You can say, I want my own RHEL instance. And you guys manage it, but I want my own. I don't want to share my container space or CPU, the whole box of CPU with anybody else. And then you can choose how much efficiency you want on top of that. You can say, everybody gets 4 gigs of RAM and 50% of the CPU, and then it's not as much efficiency. But you'll still get more apps on that box than you would otherwise. Any other questions? I think we have a clear pricing page, openshift.com/pricing. Take a look and see what you think. Any other questions? No? We're good? Okay. Thanks. I'm sorry you didn't get the PHP guy. Sorry I was the PaaS guy.